Lesson 5, Preview of the Coming Age. Question 1. What two different resurrections did Jesus mention? Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming, in the which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice, and shall come forth, they that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. John 5, verses 28 and 29. Question 2. The two resurrections are separated by how many years? And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus, and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads, or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death hath no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. Revelation 20, verses 4 to 6. Question 3. What two words describe those who have part in the first resurrection? Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death hath no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. Revelation 20, verse 6. Question 4. The rest of the dead are not raised until when? But the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Revelation 20, verse 5. Question 5. The resurrection of the righteous occurs at the time of what great event? For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. 1 Thessalonians 4, verses 15 to 17. Question 6. And living righteous will then be caught up together to meet the Lord where? Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. 1 Thessalonians 4, verse 17. Jesus is coming to take the righteous to the place he has prepared for them in heaven. And please refer back to lesson 4. Question 7. When Jesus comes, what will he do to the wicked? And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 8. They shall fall and perish at thy presence. Psalm 9, 3. Question 8. How does Revelation describe what happens to those who are not saved when Jesus comes? And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. Revelation 19, verse 21. Behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. The land shall be utterly emptied, and utterly spoiled, for the Lord hath spoken this word. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, it shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. Isaiah 24, verses 1, 3, and 20. Question 9. Jeremiah was shown the desolate condition of the earth after that time. How will it resemble the way it was before the creation of man? I beheld the earth, and lo, it was without form and void, and the heavens, and they had no light. Jeremiah 4, verse 23. Question 10. Will anyone be left on the earth? I beheld, and lo, there was no man, and all the birds of the heavens were fled. Jeremiah 4, verse 25. And the slain of the Lord shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. They shall not be lamented, neither gathered, nor buried. They shall be dung upon the ground. Jeremiah 25, verse 33. Question 11. What will happen to all our great cities? I beheld, and lo, the fruitful place was a wilderness, and all the cities thereof were broken down at the presence of the Lord, and by his fierce anger. Jeremiah 4, verse 26. For thus hath the Lord said, the whole land shall be desolate, yet will I not make a full end? Jeremiah 4, verse 27. Question 12. When the righteous arrive in heaven, what responsibility will they be given? Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death hath no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. Revelation 20, verse 6. And verse 4 says, judgment was given unto them. Question 13. What will be involved in this work? Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters? 1 Corinthians 6, verse 2 and 3. Question 14. How long will Satan be bound? And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. Revelation 20, verses 1 and 2. Question 15. He will be bound from doing what? And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. Revelation 20, verse 3. Question 16. How will God bind him from doing that? I will utterly consume all things from off the land, saith the Lord. Zephaniah 1, verses 2 and 3. Question 17. Where will Satan be during 1,000 years? And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. Revelation 20, verse 3. The Greek word used here is abusos, a word used in the Greek version of Genesis 1, verse 2, to describe the condition of the earth before the creation of man. Question 18. Will God finally create the world anew? For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. Isaiah 65, verse 17. Question 19. In his vision, what did John notice about the new earth? And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Revelation 21, verse 1. Question 20. What did he then see coming down from God out of heaven? And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Revelation 21, verse 2. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and shewed me the great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God. Revelation 21, verse 10. Question 21. What will Satan do to those who come up in the second resurrection? And when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. Revelation 20, verses 7 and 8. Question 22. For what purpose will the wicked be resurrected? And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged every man according to their works. Revelation 20, verse 13. Question 23. What will every tongue finally confess? That at the name of Jesus every knee should bow, of things in heaven, and things in earth, and things under the earth. Philippians 2, verse 10 and 11. 24. But their confession is too late, for what then happens to them? That ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of God without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in the world. Revelation 20, verse 15. And fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. Revelation 20, verse 9. Question 25. What does the Bible call this experience? Do all things without murmurings and disputings. Revelation 20, verse 14. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. 2 Peter 3, verse 10. Question 26. To what may we then look forward? Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. 2 Peter 3, verse 13. Question 27. Who will inherit the earth made new? But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. Psalm 37, 11. Question 28. When will they inherit it? Wait on the Lord, and keep his way, and he shall exalt thee to inherit the land, When the wicked are cut off, thou shalt see it. Psalm 37:34. Question 29. What will be no more? And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. Revelation 21, verses 4 and 5. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them, and be their God. Revelation 21, verse 3. And they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads. Revelation 22, verse 4. Question 30. What will the redeemed do in the new earth? And they shall build houses, and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards, and eat the fruit of them. Isaiah 65, verse 21 and 22. Question 31. How peaceful will the new world be? The wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the bullock, and dust shall be the serpent's meat. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, saith the Lord. Isaiah 65:25. Question 32. Will sin be gone forever? What do ye imagine against the Lord? He will make an utter end. Affliction shall not rise up the second time. Nahum 1, verse 9. May God bless. The beast, neither his image, neither have received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death hath no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, the resurrection of life. And they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. John 5, verses 28 and 29. Question 2. The two resurrections are separated by how many years? And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus, and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped. Verse 6. Question 4. The rest of the dead are not raised until when? But the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Revelation 20, verse 5. Question 5. The resurrection of the righteous occurs at the time of what great event? For this we say unto you, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. Revelation 20, verses 4 to 6. Question 3. What two words describe those who have part in the first resurrection? Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death hath no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. Revelation 20. Lesson 5. Preview of the coming age. Question 1. What two different resurrections did Jesus mention? Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming, in the which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice, and shall come forth, they that have done good unto